Good afternoon. My name is John McEnroe. I'm Director of Case Services at Goodwill Industries of Western New York. I'm going to talk a little bit about case notes and the part that they play in providing services to clients. Here at Goodwill, those services are vocational in nature, but the approach to case noting that I'm going to talk about is, I think, something that can be generalized to a lot of different settings. Case notes, first of all, are a record of the services that we provide to clients. And again, using this agency as an example, the vocational activities and the preparation that we provide to help clients reach an employment goal. The record of services serves a lot of purposes. It is evidence of the quality in the services that we're offering to consumers. It's evidence of the choices that we're providing to people in moving toward employment. It's also accountability on the part of the counselor in providing those services. It's a system that gives evidence of help and advocacy on the part of the counselor and the efforts that are made to help someone move toward their goals. One of the important things about case notes is the idea of continuity. By that I mean an ongoing record of activities that are being carried out with the client toward whatever goals they've chosen, that can be picked up by other staff if that becomes necessary, so that the flow of service goes on without interruption. We've all had situations where a staff member becomes ill or is not able to continue working with the client. It's important for another staff member to be able to step in, understand whatever progress has been made with the client, and be able to maintain that progress. So continuity of service, continuity of progress is an important part of case noting. Case noting offers an opportunity to describe the work that we're doing with the client. It is part of what I think of as the partnership we have with clients, where we get input on their desires, their interests, where we provide feedback to the client on the progress they're making. We provide information to the client that helps them make informed choices. So the case note really capsulizes those kinds of exchanges and those kinds of activities that we engage in with our clients. It's a way to describe interventions that we make with or on behalf of clients. If we're dealing with behavior problems or adjustment problems, It helps us to describe the intervention we're using, the particular approach we're using to help the client make positive changes. And again, going back to that continuity factor, it also alerts other staff to effective approaches in our absence, so that again, the progress of the client can be maintained. A big part of case noting is to check the client's sense of satisfaction with their progress, with the services that are being provided, and to pick up any issues that need to be addressed, and then to follow through on responding to them. So again, case notes are that line that we have that ties all of those activities we're engaging in with the client into a record of service. Case note guidelines. One of the things that I really stress about case notes is to provide enough information to get a picture of the client's functioning at that particular time. I often tell staff or students that too much is better than too little with a case note. Better to cover maybe more details than necessary than to have a case note that is really not telling us what we need to know about how a client is functioning. Case notes and accountability, those are two things that go together. One of the important things about case notes is that they really require us to follow through on what we're planning with the consumer, on goal supports that we're offering to a consumer. So one of the things that I really stress with case notes is to really use them to indicate how you're following the needs of a client. And a good example is when we develop an individual vocational plan or an individual service plan. It goes by different names in different agencies, but the idea is that you're jointly setting goals with the client, and those goals require supports, time frames. You're engaging in measurement of the quality of your service to the client. So case notes are a way to indicate what kind of progress is being made, what steps you're taking to help the client with individual goals. Are you doing what you say you're going to do to help someone? For example, if one of your goals is to help someone improve their productive level in a workplace, and a support that you've offered is to help the client or give the client feedback on production gains that they're making. Case notes are an indication of whether you're doing that or not. Are you following through on the supports or methods that are going to help the client achieve their goals? One of the things that's important about case notes, and something that I stress with clients or with students, is to make sure that case notes end with a task. And I believe every case note, or just about every case note, should include something about what you're going to do next. What's the next support you're going to offer? What's the next step you're going to take with the consumer? How are you going to proceed in working with that person? I think this, again, keeps you looking forward, and it keeps in mind that your work with the client is a process, and it doesn't end when a particular goal has been accomplished. It doesn't end when a particular problem has been solved. You need to make a statement about what happens next. Are you going to continue to monitor that progress or that goal achievement? Are you going to observe for any problem behaviors that might reoccur? It's something that keeps you forward-looking as far as what the needs of the consumer are. So it's another part of the case note that I think is really important. Case notes are evidence. They are evidence of what you're providing to a client, your ethics, how ethical your handling of the case is. Are you responding properly to the needs of a client? Are you taking steps that need to be taken in terms of the client's well-being? All of these are issues that come up in the way of evidence of service. So the case notes are an ongoing document of your interaction with the client and your commitment to the client's well-being. I think that's probably the most important reason for doing case notes. In this situation and in many, or probably most agencies, case notes can be very critical for incident handling, where there is a situation that is out of the ordinary, that may jeopardize the client's well-being or indicate the need for prevention or correction of the program structure. Case notes can be very important in providing the details that are needed to investigate situations that arise, to be sure that clients are in an environment that is safe, an environment where there is respect for human rights, and where any situation that poses a threat or a risk for the people we serve is addressed. So that's, again, another part of case noting, to provide evidence for investigating problem areas. Big part of case noting, again, is to assess satisfaction. We need to always be checking with our consumers about their level of satisfaction, their choices, their interests, their desires. These are things we need to always be checking when we're counseling, when we're interacting with clients, and documenting. Again, because this gives us some background to reflect on in our work with clients, and it also may help someone else who needs to step in to take over that case or to continue to work with the client. We go through a CARF accreditation here at Goodwill, and CARF is the Commission on Accreditation of Rehabilitation Facilities. It's a pretty intense survey of the agency's systems, everything from the financial management of the agency down to how programs are conducted. And one of the really big areas of focus are case notes. CARF, the commission, is requires a show-proof system, and basically, if it's not case noted or documented, it didn't happen. And to talk about the work you're doing with the client, to talk about the job interview that you set up for someone at XYZ company, or to talk about how you handled an adjustment problem with a client, it's not enough. There has to be documentation of how you intervened and how you helped the client resolve a problem or obtain an opportunity. Those things are looked at for proof of activity. So another important part, and especially now, as all of the agencies become more accountable for how money is spent, for how programs are developed or discontinued, all of these things require accountability, and case noting is a big part of that accountability, because it's the central relationship in working with a client. There are a lot of activities that go on because of that relationship, so developing case notes or developing the ability to case note is extremely important. I think that about covers it.